Welcome to The People's View, a program dedicated to discussing local, state, and national issues and their effect on the American people. The People's View provides a platform for state representatives and national figures to present their viewpoint. Whether it's social, economic, or financial topics, you'll hear it on The People's View.
Hello and welcome to The People's View. I'm Carl Seidel, your host, and I just wanted to let you all know that the National Republican Committee is sponsoring this show. If you want to find out more about us, just go to nashvillagop.org. And tonight, as a guest, is Andrew Hemingway. Andrew is running for the chair of the New Hampshire GOP. Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for this position, what you've done before. You've been a political activist for a while.
Sure.
We'd like to have our audience know a little bit more about you.
Of course. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be on and talk about stuff. I am running for the New Hampshire GOP chair because I believe that the organization, as it sits today, is one that obviously is just not working. I also believe that the skills and abilities and experience that I bring to the table is one that can really help the GOP as it stands right now. But at its very core, at the very foundation, I believe that New Hampshire is a better state when Republicans are leading it and when they're legislating like Republicans. The party platform that we have adopted, even just the last couple of months, is one that I believe is a winning platform. It holds the values and the principles that were at our country's very founding. It represents the principles and values that I think could make and build a successful party in New Hampshire today. But more than that, more than just our party, I believe, like your public service and what we're trying to do is make New Hampshire a better state for our families and for business owners and for all of the members and citizens of New Hampshire. That ultimately is the goal, the core design. And where I fit into all of that, and my passion to see that is right now is saying, you know what, the skills and abilities that I have are exactly what I believe the New Hampshire GOP needs right now. And so I want to apply those skills and abilities to it. And obviously the process is sort of like a job interview. I've been to a lot of I've been to all 10 counties so far. I've been meeting and talking to people on a consistent, regular basis every single day. We're talking to people and, talking to them about not necessarily just what went wrong in 2012, but looking forward to the future. Where is our party going? Looking at it from today, looking into the future. Where are we going? Is the media right? Is the Republican Party dead? Or do we think that there's a bright future? Personally, I believe that there is a very, very bright future for the New Hampshire GOP if we are willing to look at our past mistakes and use those as guides for the future.
So you're saying that the message that the GOP has to offer is a very good message, but either the people don't understand it or they're not hearing the right message.
Well,
what do you think it is?
That's exactly right. I believe that we have the right principles and values. We have not been consistently articulating those values in a way that's attractive and compelling to the voters of New Hampshire. We have instead been allowing ourselves as a party, as a brand, to be branded by our opposition. We've allowed them to brand us. They turned this debate, this last election, they turned it into a debate over birth control. When you and I both know, and voters of New Hampshire know that that's not really an issue. I mean, that's not the issue. But look, if you read The Art of War, right? They want to pick a battleground where they can win on,
Sure.
And they can win. What we need to be able to do is to say, no, let's start talking about a balanced budget. Let's make that an issue. Because Republicans proved, you proved, that you can balance a budget in New Hampshire without cutting vital services, without throwing grandma over a cliff, without leaving the roads unplowed, because I drove down here, the roads are plowed, right? So all of these claims that they're making are not true. New Hampshire Republicans balanced a budget. That should have been the issue in going into 2012. Not talking about some of these other very minor issues, but again, we're allowing the Democrats to control the narrative.
That they did win that war. They did control that. You were very nice about saying branding, but I call it almost demonization, because they took issues that made us look like we were terrible ogres in this whole thing, and we could not counter that.
Yes.
And what can we do to really get the message out, get the people to understand where we're coming from, what we have done, and what we will continue to do?
Sure. There are three things that I've been talking about as a party that we need to do in order to move forward. One is we have to control the message, and this is exactly what we're talking about. I believe that as a state party chair, I should not be the only spokesperson. And I think it does a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't allow them, the opposition, to brand us immediately as, I'm the only face for the party. Look, you and I both know many, many very, very smart, articulate women in our party who can stand up, who can defend our principles and values, and who can relate to the voters in New Hampshire. Jennifer Horn is one of them. Pam Tucker is one of them. Lori Sanborn is one of them. We have a number of women that we should be using, that we should be empowering, putting the microphone in front of them and allowing them to address these issues.
We have some wonderful chairs up there, the different committees.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think part of my role as the state party chair will be to empower individuals around the state who fit certain demographics and different little niches, and empower those individuals to stand up and to have a voice and to talk about these different issues. Something that I think is way off the beaten path, but something that I think we need to capitalize on is military issues and the veterans and this, the war that we're in right now. This is an issue that I believe is a winning one for Republicans. And I'm bringing that up because we have a lot of individuals in our party who are smart, who are articulate, with military backgrounds, who can stand and can talk to the people and voters of New Hampshire about these issues. We need to empower those people. And that's what, one of the things that I really want to do. That's how we're going to control the message. The second thing is money. Obviously, the state party has to be able to raise money. We have to do better than we have done in the past. Just the cost of campaigning is going up. I mean, as everybody knows. Even state rep races now, they still say, some of them say, oh, well, it'll be like $500. Well, it's not a $500 race anymore.
No.
It's not. People are spending $500 just on signs, not to mention if they want to do some mail or some phones. So the state party needs to be a central conduit for raising funds, being able to raise money out of D.C., but also being able to raise money nationally. I ran Newt Gingrich's presidential primary campaign here in New Hampshire. I understand the costs associated with running a statewide campaign. But after that, I left and I went to D.C. and ran Newt's digital fundraising operation. And that experience of running and being under the pressure to raise that kind of money taught me a lot of things. And there are a lot of things that we can do as a state party. Very quick example of that is in 2009, Maggie Hassan passed the LLC tax. Senator Andy Sanborn's on the radio talking. I'm in my office and I'm listening to Andy on the radio. And I go, man, like they're going to try and tax my LLC. I own an LLC. They're going to raise my taxes. We've got to do something. And I'm listening to Andy and I said, you know what? We should start an online petition right now. And so I did. I bought a domain name, stopthellctax.com, set up a petition, set that website up. While Andy was still on the radio, I text him and say, tell people to go to stopthellctax.com. In 3 weeks, we had 2,600 business owners sign up on that petition. We delivered stacks of letters to Governor Lynch's office. The very next day, after you have 2,600 people sign up, right? Business owners, LLC owners, dentists, lawyers, doctors. The very next day, the state party should send out an email saying, give us $5 to help us stop the LLC tax, right? Not only did they never receive a fundraising email, they never received any email from the New Hampshire GOP. No communication.
None at all.
None at all. Now, wouldn't you like to know the people in Nashua who signed that list?
Well, definitely.
Right. And I think that there are ways, there are simple things that we can do. That's a simple thing that we can do almost every single day right now in this political climate, that we can be raising money. And that's what we have to do. The last thing, or the third thing, sorry if I can do this.
Go right.
The third thing is mobilization. And we were
Okay.
absolutely defeated on our ground
I was
game.
hoping you'd touch there.
We were devastated on the ground in our Get Out the Vote
Right.
effort. We have to, from the state party level, run our own Get Out the Vote program. And all of that, a lot of that, technology underlies so much of what's being done. I mean, Obama's Organizing for America. They were out in the streets of Nashua with iPads, iPhones, collecting data, automatically tied into a database that they're connecting to in real time. They were at the polls. They were checking off people who were checking in real time. We're still using pads of paper, clipboards and pencils. We're having to collect this data, go back to the office. Someone's having to enter it in, and we're just behind. We're so behind. Technology underlies the entire mobilization project.
Do you have a group of people that would you could use to start building this part of the organization?
Yes.
Okay, so you know that, because I think that's where we were suffering. We didn't have people that were as familiar as you are.
Well, I think this is why this is a big reason why I'm running for party chair, is to say that the state of New Hampshire, our New Hampshire GOP, doesn't have the money to hire somebody with the skill set. They're going to have to go out and try and hire someone. But these people are in a lot of demand right now. I mean, I know. Like, they're really under demand. Sure. And they're being paid very, very good salaries. So to try and hire somebody as a consultant is going to be, $100,000, $200,000 for them to come in and to build this sort of infrastructure. I'm in a unique position because I can bring that in. We open the door and I walk in. And we're okay. Like, we have that ability now. We have someone who has the knowledge and some of the technology infrastructure already in place to roll this out, to start right from day one doing these things. And I think that's a big asset. I think that's a big advantage to this.
Well, definitely. I think that that's really what the surprise was, to me anyway, and to a lot of other people on that last day. They were able to get 7,000 new voters to register in Nashua alone.
Yes.
And 15% of the vote for the state was last day registration.
That's right. A lot of those individuals, and I don't know the exact percentage, so I'm not going to throw it out here, but a very high percentage of those individuals were young, first-time voters.
Definitely.
Here's one of the problems that we have. Republicans right now use a database that only registers or only records an individual once they have voted. So somebody, Nashua, turns 18. They're legal to vote. Democrats hit them with a letter that says, hey, you're 18, congratulations, why don't you register to vote now? Here's how to do that. Republicans, we don't even know this person exists. We don't know they exist until they go through the effort. They go to the polls, they vote for Obama or vote for a Democrat, they register as a Democrat, and then the next day Republicans go, oh yeah, John Smith, oh yeah, we know who that is. Well, now we have to wait 4 years to try and convert that person. Now we have to try and convince them that they were wrong and that they should be voting for us, right? It's totally backwards. We need to compete with those individuals on day one. When they turn 18, they need to be receiving notices and messages and start being drawn into the party and being told what it means to be a Republican and why it's better for them if they vote Republican. They need to know that. Because look, we should be the party of the future.
Would you tie that effort in with these high school groups that have political orientation and the college groups too that come in?
Yes, I'm a vice chair of the New Hampshire Young Republicans and have been for the last several years. So the young Republicans in the party obviously are very important to me because I am one of them. The college groups, I think college Republicans is an absolute necessity. This year, they elected a new chairman for the college Republicans. He came into power opened up his checking account, $40. He had $40. Now, you and I, we know that there are individuals, donors, around the state of New Hampshire who would be more than happy to write big checks to college Republicans because they recognize how valuable they are to the party.
Definitely.
This guy has no help from the state party at all. And he's going to classes, and he's, trying to build a career, and, whether we like it or not, it's a hobby. He's not paid to do this job. He's taking this on, sure, partly because it puts on his resume, but also because he cares about the cause and wants to do something. He's $40. I mean, what does he do with $40? Right?
Not very much.
And so these campuses need to have a strong, vibrant presence. And I believe the role in that is the state party needs to be a conduit to say, not only, number one, can we bring them to the table and have their voice heard, but also we need to get them resources. We need to connect them with donors. We need to give them opportunities to build their groups and to have vibrant, campus outreach.
I think you're very much right. Long time ago, I was one of those.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting because one of the things you gotta attract these people with what they would like to do. We had a very good social thing. This was in New York on Long Island. And I never knew why. I've mentioned this several times. Why we don't have open social areas, dances or whatever you want to call them, and bring people in. They don't have to sign up to be a Republican, but they'll find out about the Republicans.
Yes.
And they'll find out about our message, and there's chances to get them into other activities.
Yes.
And
yes.
You got to bring them in. You got to have something for them to do.
Yes. I think that this is something that Ron Paul has done very, very well. And part of it too is allowing them the creativity, I guess, to express their support in the way that they're going to express their support, but embracing that and saying, look, we need this energy.
That's right.
Instead of saying, no, you can only use these signs, at these times and do this, they're not going to do that, right?
No.
And we saw across college campuses, Ron Paul is able to rally thousands and thousands of supporters, and they're all carrying their own signs. They're making their own T-shirts. Yeah. There's a real excitement, energy that he's able to somehow, leverage. He's able to use it. He's able also to encourage it without maybe necessarily owning all of it. There's always that sort of distance, but still, he's allowing his supporters to express their support in their own way. We need to be able to do that. We have to be able to do that. If somebody wants to make a handmade sign and stick that in their yard, hey, that's great, right? It's great for us. Like, we want to embrace that just as much as we want to embrace someone who's willing to donate $500 so we can buy, 500 real manufactured signs. We need everybody at this table at this point.
Good, good. And so you think that's going to be an easy thing to do?
No. No, I don't. Okay. I think that it's going to be a very, very difficult task.
How to get your energy and interest in doing this spread to other people and bring them aboard to be just as active, as energetic as you are?
I think that there's a couple of things. One is you elect me as your chairman on January 26th. Two is, I've spent a great deal of time myself looking at why am I a Republican? Why is it that Republican ideas and ideals motivate me? And I think that we need to have a very serious discussion as a party as what it means to be Republican, and to bring all the interested parties to the table and to find the common thread that brings all of us to vote Republican, to say that we're Republican. This table should include some, libertarians, it should include, social conservatives, it should include the fiscal conservatives, it should include the moderates, it should include everybody. Because all of us agree with 80% of this platform. We all do. So let's get the 80% out on the table. And for the next 2 years, that 80% is going to be our focus. And those 80% of those things, those are the battles that we're going to pick, and those are the battles that we are going to win. when we start empowering the grassroots, when we start saying to the grassroots, you have a voice in this party, we want you, we need you. In order to move this whole thing forward, we have to have you. When they are allowed to express their support in their own way, however it is, and for them to feel like a valued member of our party, I think you start to see some buy-in, and I think you start to see some people getting excited about being a Republican again, because they go, you know what, my objective is this 80%, and I can see that my efforts are contributing to that 80%. I'm not wasting my time going to a county meeting. I'm actually contributing something, investing, and I'm getting a return on that investment. That helps donors, that helps activists, that helps the party move forward, and ultimately it helps the state of New Hampshire.
So how are we going to bring everybody in like this, and how are we going to get that energy really instilled in all these people?
Well, I think that we have to, again, bring everybody to the table. Mm-hmm. We've got to find out what it is that common thread that unites all of us. I think we have to really have a discussion about what it means to be Republican, and to focus back on the big things mm-hmm. that tie us all together. And I think that we have to use those and make those the battles that we pick, and those the places that we are going to fight over. Okay. And really draw a line in the sand and empower the grassroots to be a part of that.
Okay, we've spent a few minutes on this now. How would people get a hold of you if they wanted to talk to you or help you out in any way?
Sure, they can go to andrewhemingway.com, mm-hmm. or they could search simply Andrew Hemingway on Facebook, and my page is right there. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to submit a comment on my webpage, you can email me. My cell phone's right on the page too as well, so I'd love to hear from you. Okay, and the people know that the Nashua Republican Committee's website, NashuaGOP.org, has this. We'll have this on their website to be able to send to other people too. That'd be great.
So then we'll see what happens, and good luck into your election at the end of the month.
Yes.
End of next month, I guess it is.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much,
Appreciate
Andrew.
it. Good to be here.